All right, welcome to News 12 Now. My name is Chris Demirdjian. I'm the sports director here at KSLA. We have a very special day for all fans of hockey, especially local hockey here in the area. It is draft day for the Mudbugs, and we have our friend Chet Chaudhari with us. Chet, what is going on, man?
Nothing much. Just enjoying another draft day in Mudbug Nation.
And Chet, you know, if, of course you don't know, he is the play-by-play announcer for the Mudbugs hockey team. Has been doing it since the Mudbugs came back to Shreveport Bossier. What was it, 2017, 2016, 2017, around that range. So he's been here through the ups and downs, every which way of this franchise. Chet, the future of the franchise starts today, and a lot to look forward to. Is there excitement for this draft like it is other drafts in other sports?
Every draft day is exciting because you know your team's going to be better than it was before, and there's a lot of movement. There's obviously there's players who age out, and then you have players who are going to return. So you have a returning core, and then you combine that with some of the exciting faces you're going to select today. So when you put it all together, it makes for an exciting camp, which is going to be in August before we know it.
You know, of course, after last season, or I should say this past season, didn't end the way y'all wanted it to. Of course, ended in a second round playoff loss at home to Oklahoma. What I guess areas of the team does Coach Campbell want to improve on that you see?
Well, if you look back at that playoff run, I mean, it was epic when they beat Lone Star in a 5-game series. Then they got swept against the Oklahoma Warriors, who went on to be the Robertson Cup champions. But the Mudbugs scored 11 goals in 8 games combined, and so that's a problem. They know that they're going to have to improve in that area, so they're going to look for more of a scoring punch. One of the biggest bright spots of this Mudbugs team is they have a chance to return 6 to 7 defensemen. That's the most that they've ever returned following a year. So that's huge to have a blue line as strong as it possibly could be if everything works out. Goaltending situation, you got some things up in the air. They made a few moves. And then, of course, like I said, the biggest priority is going to be a scoring punch to get some more talented puck-handling centers and some scoring wingers.
Chet Yoder, the play-by-play announcer for the Mudbugs hockey team. You know, Chet, obviously, there was a lot of excitement, especially with the goalies. Finding the next great goalie. I know the Mudbugs lose a few players in the season, in the off season, but trying to find the next great goalie. You had a couple of goalies this year that were in the top 5 nationally in the NAHL and the goals against average. What's it like trying to find the next goalie? Is it like trying to find the next starting quarterback?
It can be. It's very tricky. Every camp you'll have about maybe 8 to 10 goalies come out. We're probably scheduled to have somewhere around there for this upcoming camp in August. To lose, Simon Bushler, like you mentioned, goaltender of the year. He was the best goalie in the league, and so it's tough to lose a guy like that. But you have Nikolai Goich, who started, 3 playoff games in this last playoff run. He played really well. He's an '04 born. But he does have an offer for a USHL team, so there's a little bit of uncertainty there. But the Mudbugs did make a trade with the Springfield Junior Blues, and they brought Carson Dorfman, who's the little brother of former Robertson Cup championship center Braden Dorfman from that 2020-2021 team. So his little brother, Carson Dorfman, who's been in our camp before, is going to join us. We're very excited to have him come into camp and be a part of this team. So it has a chance to be a great goaltending tandem, but like I said, with Nikolai Goich, it's up in the air with him right now. But if you can get those two, maybe get another guy lined up, I think the Mudbugs will be in great shape. They've always seemed to be blessed with great goalies year after year, but sometimes at the early start, it could be a little bit up in the air with some uncertainty, but I think they'll be in smooth sledding, so to speak.
Chet, we were talking about over the phone today how the NAHL draft kind of takes place. It's about 16 rounds. I think you were saying earlier the Mudbugs have about 5 picks spread out over those 16. Is that correct?
Yeah. So there's some picks that they're going to pass on just because they don't need the space. They're going to draft obviously some offensive scoring punch. They're probably going to load up some defensemen as well, just to see if it all can kind of pan out. But they have 5 picks that they're going to be focusing on, and like you said, every draft is eventful. This one, we'll see how eventful it is. So far, it's going well for the Mudbugs. They've been able to get the guys that they've been wanting to get.
On top of that, during the off season, what do Mudbugs coaches, what do Mudbugs players, what are they doing right about now?
Our Mudbugs players are working out. Usually, you get a little bit of time off. After the season ends, you need about 1 or 2 weeks for your body to heal. But usually, they have a workout program that they do. They also have ice time with where they're at. A lot of our players are in Michigan. Some guys are in Canada, various parts of the country. But they do have ice time available for them, so they will be skating. They will be working out. They will be conditioning themselves. And if they're not, we'll find out how good or bad condition that they're in come camp time. Our coaches, they don't really get much time off. They're always recruiting. They're always looking, traveling in different states. Coach Soupy currently in Nashville right now, part of that recruiting process. So you're always trying to put together a team for next season. You always want to load it up with as many guys as you can, so when they come camp time, they can go through the normal cuts and have their team shaped up by September, hopefully by September.
You mentioned something interesting. You mentioned recruiting. Of course, in Louisiana, we would think recruiting. We think, college football. What LSU's doing, what Arkansas is doing. Is it sort of kind of the same thing with in terms of college football, in terms of recruiting? Coach Campbell's trying to go across country and trying to find the next great Mudbug. Is that what it's like?
That is, I mean, I want to give a lot of credit to our director of scouting, Michael Gratton. He's kind of like behind the scenes. He is the architect, though, behind all these teams that he's able to build. He does a lot more of the traveling. And of course, they consult with Coach Soupy, our Mudbugs associate head coach, Michael Hill, and then we also have a goaltending coach, Rich Perron. And they put it together as best they can. They're always recruiting, even during the season. You're always scouting. You're always recruiting. You're always talking. You're always on the phone. It's kind of crazy, actually. Even Coach Soupy's wife, Miss Shanda, said that Coach Soupy and Michael Gratton should just be married by now, because the phone conversations are endless, the meetings are endless, and going through Zoom calls and all that. It continues. It never stops when you're trying to build your team, because a lot of these players either report, some don't want to come to Shreveport for one reason or another, or if they have a different opportunity in their development. So that's some of the things that you have to watch out for is guys who will come and show up and want to be part of the Mudbugs team, and then guys who just don't show up for whatever reason, don't come. So then you have to be able to maneuver around that.
Well, Chet, the play-by-play announcer for the Shreveport Mudbugs, we're going to probably check in with you a few times this offseason to see how the Mudbugs are doing, man. But thanks for spending some time with us today right here on KSLA News 12 Now, Chet.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Anytime, man. Talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye.